Good morning. It's Thursday, March the 26th, and this is The Drill. Thank you very much. I'm Ron, your host and the only true conservative in the United States today. I don't take my cues from the left. I will not pretend to be neutral. I will not simply give you the facts and let you decide. I'm partisan, and I'm here to convince, persuade. I will tell you what to do, where to go, and how to hang your laundry. I created this podcast to answer the question most asked by conservatives, namely, what can I do? My podcast is short, approximately 5 to 10 minutes long, because shorter podcasts are easier to download and listen to, and shorter podcasts force me to get to the point. I've been listening to conservative talk radio since '89. I've grown up in a socialist household and seen the destructive effects of socialism up close and personal. My podcast is made available through Spreaker and can be heard on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. Today, what can I do? Tweet of the day, Mitch McConnell gets it wrong, and the stock market instead of GoFundMe. All that when I come back. Thank you. What can I do? Defeat the erroneous right. There are a lot of people in this country that call themselves conservative but live like socialists. They talk like lefties, they dress like lefties, they think like lefties. If a person that identifies as a conservative uses left-wing techniques, the true conservative must treat him like a socialist. For instance, everyone in conversation uses the Socratic method. And the Socratic method is a method whereas an individual asks questions in order to expose the weakness of his opponent's arguments. The weakness of this technique is that the person using it must be able to convince everyone else that he is neutral, that he has no interest in the outcome of the argument. This is false, and we know that it is false because if he were neutral, if he really had no interest in the outcome, he wouldn't be participating in the argument at all. In other words, he's not acting in good faith. But the person you are talking to may be just using a technique because he heard other people using it. So how do we know whether or not he is really socialist? By simply asking him a counter question. So, if he asks, is it true that you voted for Donald Trump in the last presidential election? Your response should be, who I voted for in the last election is none of your business, right? But for the sake of argument, let's pretend that I did. Now what? If he answers that question, he's acting in good faith. But if he obfuscates, hesitates, or asks another question, he's a socialist. Then feel free to treat him as such. Next up, the tweet of the day. Thank you. The tweet of the day from President Trump. Quote, just reported that the United States has done more testing than any other nation by far. In fact, over an 8-day span, the United States now does more testing than what South Korea, which has been a very successful tester, does over an 8-week span. Great job, unquote. Next up, Republicans get burned again. Thank you very much. And it seems that I vote, and I donate money, and I vote conservative, and yet the country seems to continue to slide slowly to the left. The people that we send to Washington, in some cases, over and over, get beaten by the Democrats repeatedly. Sunday was another example of the hapless state of affairs with the Republican Party and its use of power. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blew it. Speaker Pelosi and Minority Leader Schumer took him to school. The eagerly awaited economic relief bill was ready to be voted on and passed when Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer took action to make sure that the bill didn't pass. And they did this to renegotiate the contents of the bill and to load the bill up with irrelevant additions, such as money for Planned Parenthood. At that point, Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer should have become public pariahs. But Senator McConnell made a big mistake. He shielded the Speaker and Minority Leader from the consequences of their actions. He changed his vote from yes to no as a procedural move to make sure that he could bring the bill back up for reconsideration. By making this procedural move, Senator McConnell guaranteed the Democrats a victory. If Senator McConnell had simply refused to change his vote and let the bill die, he would have guaranteed the Republicans victory. By changing his vote, he made sure that the responsibility for the passage of the bill remained in Republican hands and kept pressure on the Republicans to compromise and include things in the bill they otherwise wouldn't. He also encourages the Democrats to try this tactic again next time. Shame on Mitch McConnell. Next up, the stock market. Thank you very much. The stock market used to be like GoFundMe. In the beginning of this country, the stock market was created to allow individuals to invest in companies that they believed in. Now, thanks to Keynesian economics, the stock market is something to be manipulated so as to stay ahead of inflation. So the true conservative should treat the stock market the way it was meant to be treated. Decide what companies you believe in. Have you or a loved one had cancer, for instance? Find a company that has promising treatments or potential cures and invest. Do your due diligence first, of course, but invest and keep your investment on the basis of company performance. As long as the company is committed to its mission statement, as long as the company officers have integrity and credibility, keep investing. The true conservative does not just throw his money at a manager that puts the funds into some mutual fund package that nobody knows anything about. Create value. The left yammers on and on about making a difference. Here, by investing carefully, you can make a difference far beyond anything any socialist could do. Back in a minute. Who is the true conservative? He is the person that has the courage of his convictions and is confident in what he knows. He is the person that understands that cultural conservatism is more important than political conservatism. He's not selfish but minds his own business. He acts like an adult. He is patriotic and uses common sense. He expresses what he knows and does so with certainty. He makes judgments, refuses to speculate, speaks clearly and definitively, and is not afraid to say no. He's open-minded, asking why rather than why not. He is consistent, credible, and influential, not ashamed of his existence, unafraid to learn or correct his mistakes. He is a normal American, and he is better than the socialist. He's a better friend, father, brother, family member, and a better person, period. You have to know that. If you don't know with every fiber of your being that being a true conservative is best, then you're wasting your time. That brings me to the end of another episode of The Drill. Remember that the left has no authority, no power, and they can't win. Think about it.